All right, guys, welcome to the Marcus and Mike show. We are having a malfunction with the old camera system here, but we'll get it figured out tomorrow for you guys. But as always, I am Mike at mbuck41 on the Twitter machine, and Marcus the Freak here at Marcus the Freak on the Twitter webs as well. Man, the other voice you guys hear today, Marcus. How are you doing today, bud?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Michael. What's going on?
Well, your Texas Rangers and my Kansas City Royals started a series this past night. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys got us, or I'm sorry. On Tuesday night, we started a series. We beat you guys 11-5. You come back in, you beat us 6-1, and right now
Right.
Royals are up 1-0 in top of the second inning. So that's kind of exciting. Uh, Weekday or a midweek baseball series is always fun to watch. You get to really interact with the fans. If you're ever out there, um, you know, trying to catch some good players and some good games. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday baseball is always fun to watch. Uh,
Oh my
but
God, I forgot that was on right now.
yeah, it's
That's
booked.
on right now.
It's
Damn, I'm gonna cut that on in a minute. Yeah.
on right now. They are in beautiful Kansas City, Missouri, city of fountains, and we're hitting dingers, man.
Noon, yeah, noon on a noon on a Thursday.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty crazy start time,
man.
isn't it?
Sometimes I cut on these. Yeah, sometimes I cut on these games. Sometimes I cut it on the Rangers channel, the Astros channel, and usually it's like the tape delay, or like it's the one from the previous night.
Right.
And so this one's live though. Yep, Kansas City's up one in the second inning. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there you
So
go.
so speaking of the previous night here, the Bucks did beat the Raptors as we per, both predicted here. Uh,
Yeah.
Lopez kind of carries the team toward the end there. I believe it's
Yeah.
Lopez. I gotta get those
Yes.
two mixed up all that just like all the time. But what are your
Yeah, I
thoughts
do too, Robin,
like
because
on
they,
that
they
game?
look so similar, Robin and Brooke. Yep.
Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on that game? I mean, we kind of predicted the Bucks to win, and it was going to be a well-fought game. The Bucks win 108 to 100, kind of a high scoring, like from like what we thought was going to be lower 90s to
Yeah.
high 80s. So if this series continues the way it is, who do you think this favors? Does it favor the Raptors or does it favor the Bucks?
No, it favors the Bucks. That was unfortunate last night by Toronto having control of that game for most of the game until the end. I think this is one of those ones they might look back on this one. They squandered a Kyle Lowry 30-point game.
Yeah,
You can't. That's you don't know if that you're going to
yeah,
see that again. I mean, he has the capabilities. He's an all-star, but we all know his past performance in the playoffs haven't been as good as his regular seasons when he makes the all-star teams. Yeah, I mean, what happened last night was classic Bucks though. It's funny because Toronto just got a taste of its own medicine because Toronto usually bottles people up in the end of games and where the other team can't score. This time Milwaukee did it to Toronto. They got Toronto's not used to that defense getting put on their butt, and they got handled defensively. And Kyle Lowry only is the only person that scores in the fourth quarter. So, and then Toronto was giving it to Milwaukee. See, something they're not used to. Milwaukee's used to dishing out really great defense, and Toronto gave it to them all game. They bottled up the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he had to find other people. And um, fortunately for Milwaukee, Lopez came through 7-footer, and he's capable of doing this. He hits shots. This is what he's done for the past like 5-6 years of his career. He didn't used to be this good of a 3-point shooter, but man, I love when players turn it around and they become something. They work on their game, something that they weren't good at earlier in their career.
yeah. What
So
is like?
Lopez is hitting his shots, 7-footer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to me, like because he has been around. I mean, it seems like he has been around for quite a long time now, like going on seven,
Yeah.
8, maybe 9 years even. But
Yeah.
his career high was 29 points, and he hit that last night. 13 of those points was in the fourth quarter. So so uh, for him to have such a great game, and then the Greek Freak having 24 points, like
Right.
that that that's to me has to be a little concerning for the Raptors, just a tad bit. I am glad that Kyle Lowry finally stepped up in his one series, like like his one game in this series, like he would
Right.
have a good game. Uh, Too bad it came on game one. Uh, for the Raptors' sake, they kind of wish it would have came game 6 or game 7. So this, like, if I am a Raptors player, coach, and or fan, I'm a little concerned. But then at the same time, we are supposed to lose these first few games on the road. Hopefully they can bounce back. Tomorrow, I believe they play uh, Friday. Yeah, they play Friday at 8 o'clock. Hopefully the Raptors can like bounce
Yeah.
back and steal that win that they I predicted they will get, but then you have also predicted Milwaukee will start off the series 2-0.
Yeah.
Are you still planning that there? Like you think they'll
Yeah,
do
I
2-0?
think everybody's going to win their home games. So I think it's going 7, and you have Toronto like winning tomorrow, which could very well happen.
Yeah.
It depends on the mentality of Toronto. They have championship caliber type players. Ibaka's been in the finals. Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green should have won back-to-back finals. They won one championship, but they've hit. Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard have been in big moments, bigger moments than they're going to face tomorrow or Friday night. So if Toronto comes back and shows Milwaukee, hey, we let one slip away, that's fine. We're going to come back and bite you. See, non-championship teams and younger teams, this would really hurt them.
Yeah.
Losing a game like this, controlling the game for the whole time, and then coming back and letting Milwaukee come back and win the game in the last 3 minutes. So that would non-championship teams, that would really hurt them. But I don't see Toronto as that way. They've got players that have been there before, and so I think Toronto's going to come back and make it another exciting game down the stretch. And I love this kind of basketball.
Yes.
It's to me, I mean, it's a little better than what you're going to watch tonight with Portland and Golden State. That's basically a 21 game, and just who makes the jump shots.
Right.
Now, Golden State does play really good defense, but they play defense in spurts.
If they want to,
but,
yep.
But you check this out. But the other night they really didn't play defense in spurts. They kept that up almost the entire game, and Portland kind of just played into it. But this is a really great series for me to watch. This Toronto-Milwaukee. To me, it's must-see TV because it's old school basketball. Who's open takes the shots. One star player on each team. There's not this collection of NBA All-Stars that are just trying to take over games and stuff like that. This is one great player to another, Giannis and Kawhi, and let's see which of their other teammates play better. And if you noticed, Chris Middleton struggled yesterday. I'm telling you right now, he's not used. He's had a little freewheeling and dealing here. Toronto plays great defense. They're just not going to let Chris Middleton score 30. It's like pick a poison. They went ahead, and it's not like they didn't guard Lopez to get his 29, but they were that was the one where they were going to let him shoot some open shots. When Greek Freak is great now. This is the thing about the Greek Freak. He has turned his game around. He's now finding people. It's tougher than you think throwing it out to double teams and making that right pass to see who's open. Yeah. And last night it happened to be Lopez. And so we'll see what happens moving forward. But man, this is must-see TV. I love this Milwaukee-Toronto series. It's defense and fundamentals of basketball. And and Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green learned that from Pop. And so Mike Budenholzer learned that from Popovich. So this is almost like a Spurs series, the former coach versus a couple of former players. This is really good stuff for me to watch.
Yeah, and as I stated yesterday, I really think this series, this Toronto-Milwaukee series, will be better than the NBA Finals series and also the Western Conference series as well. So if you are a basketball fan, or if you are a casual basketball fan, this is the series that you need to tune in to watch. This is going to be a great back and forth battle. It is basically who has the last haymaker landed at the end of the game is going to win this game. or the actually
Yeah,
series.
where I'll disagree with you a little bit. No, I love your analogy on this series. This series is absolutely fabulous. Golden State going up against Toronto's defense or Milwaukee's defense, that right there gets me so excited. I mean, like the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers played really good defense on the Warriors, and look what happened. The Warriors lost, one of their only finals losses. They are going to see defense like they've never – Golden State Warriors are going to see defense like they've never seen before in about 3 years once they face Milwaukee or Toronto, either one. That's going to be – I cannot wait to see how Curry and Klay Thompson jack up shots on Kawhi and Danny Green, or on the flip side of that, Brogdon and Connaughton and Eric Bledsoe. These guys play defense and get after your butt. I mean, that is really must. I'm going to be so emotionally invested in this year's finals because of the defense that can be played on Golden State. Like the non-defense that's being played on Golden State right now, they're not going to have any of that room to maneuver around. This is going to be great, and Golden State's going to need every bit of 6'10" Kevin Durant to beat the Milwaukee Bucks or the Toronto Raptors. I cannot wait until May 30th. That's the day of the finals. I've marked it down already. May 30th. I cannot wait to see that. That's going to be absolutely awesome to see.
You might sell me on the NBA finals being better than the Eastern Conference finals if I continue to see basketball being played like we saw last night in Game 1. You might make me a believer if I continue to see that, but like right now, I just don't see that happening. Like I just think Golden State is just so much. They have more firepower than like any of these teams have like ever faced, and like I just don't know if they can hang like with that. But
yeah, and then real quick correction: the finals start May 28th. That's a Thursday night. May 30th is. I'm getting ahead of myself. May 30th is Game 2. So May 28th. I've circled on my calendar is Thursday night in the NBA Finals.
Well, either way, that is a little over 12 days away, maybe even 11 days away. So just a week and a half, guys, and Marcus will be on Cloud 9 again here.
Yes.
But before we start talking about the Golden State Portland series, I want to give a little bit of breaking news, some NFL action. Patrick Peterson just got suspended by the NFL for performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
Do you think this hurts his? Do you think after this suspension, his career's done?
No, I think he's still in the prime of his career, but it was a little puzzling to me. This guy's always asking to be traded, and so he's using performance-enhancing drugs. He's gonna. I mean, I don't get it. Like you're not gonna be traded like that, just hurting your team like that. I mean, that's just weird to me. I'll trade me, but yet I'm going to be suspended for 6 games for performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, dude, what are you doing? And so now that really hurts his team. I don't think Arizona's going to be that good anyway this year. I mean, I think they'll be improved, but they're going to have a rookie quarterback. We'll see what happens there. Now their draft pick Byron Murphy is going to have to be thrust in there. He would already probably been thrust in there a little bit, but Byron Murphy now is going to have to play a larger role. The rookie out of Washington right away, as opposed to learning under Patrick Peterson for a few weeks.
Right.
And so we'll see what happens there. I mean, they have a decent secondary. I don't think it's anything great. I mean, I guess Alfred's going to start with Murphy, Byron Murphy, the rookie. I'd pick on him all day. I forget who Arizona plays week 1, but I'd pick on Murphy all day. He's not even a press man corner. I'd let him have it. And then they have DJ Swearinger back there, who I've watched with the Texans for about 3 years before we let him go. I think he went to Washington or Arizona. He went to Arizona, then Washington. And DJ Swearinger is a heck of a all-time safety. He comes up and makes the hits on you. But in pass coverage, he's horrific. So Arizona's got to starting week 1. They've got a rookie corner and a safety that is basically comes up and makes hits. He doesn't play the back end. And their free safety, Buda Baker, is pretty good, but he's still young too. Kid also out of Washington. So we'll see what happens there. I'd pick on Arizona secondary. Man, without Patrick Peterson, expect who are you playing in fantasy, Michael? If you got play Arizona your first few weeks, you go ahead and you start those guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick Peterson and the Kansas City Chiefs were rumored in possible trades like this past
Yes.
this past season. I think Arizona uh, is playing for a number one overall pick again this next
Yeah.
year. So
Probably. Yeah.
if he is suspended for 6 weeks, just like what you said, I would look to trade him now. You know, see if the Kansas City Chiefs are a possible trader still. Maybe somebody else that needs some secondary help. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's possible. I mean, if I don't think I wouldn't give up a first round pick, even though Kansas City, in my opinion, Kansas City is going to be like 12-4. So you're
yeah,
talking about a 28th or 29th pick like they had this past year, and then they got Frank Clark for it, which is a great. I might think about doing that again. If you can land a Frank Clark with your first round pick, and then land a Patrick Peterson with your other
yeah,
first round pick, and these aren't going to be top. These aren't top 15 picks now. You're giving away 28 and 29.
right.
I mean, worst case maybe 26. I would, but I wouldn't even throw my first round pick at Kansas City. I would throw my second round pick. Second round picks are at a premium as well. So you're talking like maybe like the 55th pick overall. Hell, T.O. got traded for a second round pick in his prime to the Eagles. So this isn't out of the realm of possibility. People that don't understand the NFL, don't understand the NFL draft might go, oh my God, Patrick Peterson, a second round pick, should have got better than that. No, second round picks come in the NFL and they start. So
Yeah,
no, that's actually they're projected to be really good players. The NFL draft, that's where it's different than the NBA draft. You could have a fourth round pick in the NFL start and be a productive player, big time player, plug and play. It's very rare you get a late second round pick in the NBA and then he starts right away and averages 15 points a game for his career. That's usually all your money and all your really good players in the NBA draft are first rounders. That's not the case in the NFL. The NFL is a second round, third round, fourth round. You get value there. So Patrick Peterson, yeah, you know what? If I was Kansas City, I would call them right now and say, hey, you want my second round pick of the 2020 draft?
yep.
Patrick Peterson right now. Kansas City will wait 6 games for him. That's absolutely no problem. And
And
real quick on your Kansas City Chiefs, they just got Darren Lee,
yep, I was getting ready
former
to say
yeah,
that. Yep.
okay, yeah, former high pick from the Ohio State Buckeyes. Darren Lee's a pretty good player. And listen, Kansas City linebackers, not worried about them at all now.
Nope.
You got Anthony Hitchens and Damian Wilson. You got Darren Lee to the mix. Um, listen, we talked about this before. Anthony Hitchens is a good linebacker. He led the Big Ten in tackles. Um, and then also Damian Wilson played for Minnesota. He led the Big Ten in tackles right after Anthony Hitchens left. So you have 2 players that led the Big Ten in tackles, and then you're getting Darren Lee. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the kid. And also Frank Clark, the Kansas City. Listen, my point is, a couple of months ago, Kansas City Chiefs linebacking core looked like
The worst in
a
the
weakness.
NFL.
Yeah, now it looks like it's not bad. He maybe even be a strength. And let me throw another gem at you. Gary Johnson of Texas, number 33 in your Longhorn program, was a heck of a linebacker for the UT Longhorns. Okay, yeah, this guy made impact plays, and he's a heck of like there's maybe not a better athlete on the Kansas City Chiefs roster right now. Gary Johnson was an undrafted free agent. He signed the undrafted free agent with the Chiefs. I expect Gary Johnson to make the team as a Kansas City Chief and play well his first year. Especially he's going to be on special teams. I mean that might be a specialty. But Gary Johnson will find his way onto a Kansas City Chiefs game. He won't be. I don't think he's going to be practice squad. I think Gary Johnson makes this squad for the Kansas City Chiefs out of UT. Well, I watched this kid for the last 3 years at UT, and he's a heck of a player. How he went undrafted blows my mind. And then we'll talk about there's a couple of college basketball players, how they didn't get invited to the combine kind of blows my mind as well. But yeah, Kansas City Chiefs linebacking core could be a point of strength instead of a weakness.
Yeah, and just hitting on Lee real fast here. He was a Jets former uh, first 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 round pick a couple years
Yeah,
ago, and then the Kansas City Chiefs gave up a 6th round pick for him.
yeah,
So
yeah,
The Kansas City Chiefs are making moves. I was really upset like with them earlier in the off season and they let Eric Berry go, Ford,
yeah,
and we traded somebody else. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but
yeah,
I was pretty upset about that. But now I see that now I see the ball starting to roll and
yeah,
like moves are being made. and I feel a little bit better about our situation now. Now, quickly, let's go ahead and hit on the college players that you just mentioned,
Hmm.
like about not being invited to the draft. How do you feel about that?
Well, no, here's the hit. Well, yeah, there's a couple of players that weren't even invited to the Chicago pre-draft combine there, and everybody talks about weak draft, weak draft. Okay, I understand it's not top heavy. There may not be out of the top 10, five Hall of Famers. There might be just one or two, or maybe none. We don't know yet, but I just found this out right now. There were 77 players invited to the combine there in Chicago. Luke May was not invited. Luke May out of North Carolina, 6'8", not a great athlete, but Luke May's paid his dues, man. He's been in North Carolina since forever, and he's made some big shots. I'm shocked he's not.
He reminds me of Tyler Hasborough. Looks like we lost it.
Yes.
So you were talking about May, about not getting
Okay. Yeah.
drafted.
Look, where did you leave me at?
Luke May not getting drafted, 6'8", and then I said he reminded me of Tyler Hansborough.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, Luke. Yeah, Luke May. Not 6'8", made a lot of big shots in his North Carolina career. He's been there forever, and for him, that's a kind of a disrespect for him not to be invited to one of the top 77 players to the combine. That's a little bit of disrespect, I believe. And your Tyler Hansbrough comparison, Tyler Hansbrough was played in the NBA because he's a little bit better athlete than Luke May. Luke May's not a great athlete, so Tyler Hansbrough, that's probably why he was played in the NBA for a few years, had a cup of coffee for a couple of teams or whatever. I think he played for the Pacers, Hansbrough. But they're better athlete than Luke May. And then Chris Clemens out of Campbell, 30 points per game. Been one of the best guards in the country. And he only 5'9", but okay. But he's not invited to the combine. A guy that was 30 points a game. The guy was fabulous with the basketball in his hands. I think he could make an NBA roster. I know he's going to be in the D League. And then the one that really got me was Tyrese Battle out of Syracuse, 6'5", and all ACC performer. Tyrese Battle of Syracuse, he's not invited to the combine. And so that just kind of freaked me out a little bit, especially the Battle one. Actually, that one got me. That one took me for a loop a little bit. And then everybody says this is a weak draft. But when you got those three players that didn't get invited to the combine, that's a little weird. I don't think this is a weak draft when you have Chris Clemens and Luke May and especially Tyrese Battle not even invited to the combine, the top 77 players. So, I think this is going to be a really good draft. And I don't mean it's going to be top heavy. I don't mean there's going to be a lot of Hall of Famers out of this draft or All Stars, but you'll have contributors in this draft, even first and second round, for many years to come.
Yeah, and just speaking of that, the last two guys, they kind of surprised me as well. But May doesn't really surprise me because he has been doing it for so long. He is not going to wow you on his jump or the long jump or his speed or like anything like just like that. So he really has nothing else to show you / prove to you in the combine. So
Yeah.
so why kind of have a spot for him when there's nothing left for him to prove? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of like on that point. Like,
Well, I mean, I just don't think he's the athlete probably that's going to be in the NBA for many years. I mean, he would have to really get some strength and he really have to shoot the ball really well to make an NBA roster. He was the third one on that list. Really, I was really shocked at Chris Clemens, 30 points a game for Campbell, and then Tyrese Battle, all ACC performer, Syracuse. I mean, Tyrese Battle's made some big shots in the NCAA tournament, and he's been a pretty darn good player. Like I said, I think he was second team all ACC. For those two not to be invited to the combine. And then also, I think they invited Taco Fall, 7'6". I mean, listen, Taco Fall will not make an NBA roster this year. He probably Taco. Yeah, no, he is 7'6" player, but he basically has no skill. He's not Bol with skills. So Taco Fall is just a guy just going to stand in the way. The NBA game is not for him, to be honest. He might be able to play overseas or something like that. He's 7'6". He's a draw. He's something to look at. Everybody goes, oh, wow. He won't make an NBA roster. He just doesn't have the skill set. And so That's where I would question the Chicago pre-draft camp there, that combine. So you're going to take a player like Taco Fall, but you're not going to take Tyrus Battle. I would have an issue with that. If I could talk to them, I'd really have it. You don't take Chris Clemens, 30 points a game, scorer, led the NCAA or second in the NCAA in scoring, but you're going to take Taco Fall. He's just a draw and attraction. It's almost like a sideshow.
Well,
So.
but he also almost led UCF to upsetting Duke in the second round game.
Yeah.
Because when he was in there, USC looked like they were going to handle Duke, and the minute he fouled out on that game, I mean, they look like a whole brand new team. So
I agree. I agree with that. Zion had a little hard time. Zion and RJ Barrett and those boys had a hard time shooting over, getting to the rim on top of the ball.
You're going to have a little bit of problem.
Yeah, that was fun to watch. I mean, but the NBA game's a little different. It's a little more up and down. I mean, he might make the roster, but he will never. He'll be the 2019, 20, 21 version of Chuck Nevitt back in the day. Chuck Nevitt was 7'5", and I think Chuck Nevitt was actually a better athlete than Taco Fall. But he'll basically ride the bench. He might make the team because you never know. It's about dollars, man. And Taco Fall at the end of your bench. I mean, you know how many autographs he's gonna sign. People are gonna come to watch this 7'6" guy walk around. So that's possible. And to your point, man, Aubrey Dawkins, for Central Florida, he was the one that almost beat Duke. He had that chip. He should have made that last second shot. I mean, Aubrey Dawkins, the son of former great Duke player Johnny Dawkins and former San Antonio Spurs Johnny Dawkins, his son Aubrey Dawkins. I think he's going to make an NBA roster. He's a pretty good player. He won't be a solid contributor, but he's a pretty good player. 6'5", Aubrey Dawkins. He almost beat Duke. He and Taco Fall, almost beat Duke. That was pretty fun to watch. And then Duke eventually fell. But you're right. Taco Fall gave Zion some trouble there.
Yeah, so we have about 10 minutes left in the show here, and I want to touch on the Golden State-Portland game tonight. Game 2 starts tonight here in about 3 or 4 hours, or so. Golden State is up 1-0 in the series. KD is not playing again tonight with that calf strain. Is this a must-win for Portland to stay face in this series?
Yes, it's a must-win. And normally I won't go with the must-wins game 2 because you know me already. I'm always one of those guys that say, just because the team goes up 2-0 doesn't necessarily mean the series is over because you just hold serve at home and see what happens. But this is a little bit more unique circumstance than the average series because there's no Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant makes Golden State a slam dunk champion almost, if you will. Yeah. Right now, Golden State is a championship team. But with Kevin Durant, it's a slam dunk championship. So listen, Portland's not going to win the series. But if they want any shot at all to win this series, they're going to have to win game 2 tonight without Kevin Durant, just to make things a little interesting. Like I said, they're not going to win this series, but this is a must-win. I mean, these guys have got to have pride, Portland Trailblazers. I mean, they looked absolutely horrific the other night. I don't know what that was. Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum. I don't know who entered their bodies. I mean, the defense was horrific. Enes Kanter, and I mentioned this when we were previewing the show, or we were previewing the game in a couple of days ago show. Enes Kanter, he can't play against Golden State. He doesn't play defense, okay, very rarely. And then he's a back-to-the-basket player. He's a nice offensive player, but if he's not punishing Draymond Green down there, he's no good. And he doesn't switch out. Collins is the guy that has to play. The best 5 on the court to beat the Golden State Warriors are Zach Collins, who's their first-round pick a year ago out of Gonzaga, Seth Curry, Curry's little brother because he can spread the floor, he shoots it, and Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood has major league talent. Rodney Hood has all-star talent, and you saw that on display a couple of nights ago when they closed out, or actually about last week when they were beating the Nuggets in the quadruple overtime. Rodney Hood has big-time supreme talent. He's got to be on the floor at the end of games for Portland. So it's Rodney Hood, Zach Collins, Seth Curry, and McCollum and Lillard. Those are the 5. Enes Kanter can't play, really, against the Warriors. Now, they're still probably going to start him Hopefully he'll get some easy buckets, and then
Yeah.
but the end of games you won't see Enes Kanter in the lineup. And also I think he's going through his faith, his Muslim faith or whatever. He's going through Ramadan or something. He's not drinking water and stuff like that. That very rarely works out. I mean, there's only one Akeem Olajuwon that had to do that, and then still drop 40 on you. And Enes Kanter is not Akeem Olajuwon, so that's a little bit troublesome for um, Portland. But yeah, I mean, this is a must-win. Answer your question. This is absolutely a must-win for the Portland Trailblazers without Kevin Durant tonight, Game 2.
Yeah, I cannot agree more with you. This is definitely a must win, but they can't win by too much. They 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 still have to keep the game, just a 10-point game, just so the Warriors keep KD out for Game 3 and possibly Game 4 as well. Um, because like if Portland wins, by 5 or 6 points, the Warriors still have faith that they can beat Portland in a series minus KD. So they
Yes.
can't win too much. Uh,
Right.
and then once they get back home, Game 3 and Game 4, then they need to really ramp it up and just beat the brakes off of the Warriors at 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 least one game to really
Right.
to really have a chance in this series. I don't think that is going to happen. I think Game 2 is going to be a repeat of Game 1. Maybe not a 30-point game, but like a 15-point game. Uh, just I don't know what happened to Portland between Game 7 and then now. Are their legs gone? Are they tired? Are they sick?
Yeah.
Are they not eating? Something is not right. After watching Game 1, and I think it's going to repeat in Game 2 as well.
No, you know what?
I don't
I
see
like
them
your
doing well.
logic. I don't think your logic is flawed um, with an organization that thinks about those things. No, you're probably right on like 99% of the organizations with your logic there. Don't beat them too bad because then they get scared, push the panic button, and then Kevin Durant's got to be there for Game 3 regardless, right?
Right.
Because they're like, oh my God, we're going to Portland. We just lost one without KD. We definitely need him for Game 3. But I would be a little surprised if Steve Kerr pushed that panic button. I think the Warriors model themselves after the Spurs organization. Spurs organization never really pushed those panic buttons. If you weren't ready to play, they didn't want you back. They didn't want to bring you back. They would forego championships. They wouldn't risk a player's health to win a championship. That's not what they do. That's not in their DNA. That happened in 2000 with Duncan. Duncan could have come back from a meniscus tear, but they said nope. You're going to get totally, fully healthy, and we'll see you next year. And that helped. That might have helped Duncan play 19 years in the NBA.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Warriors do tonight, the outcome, because your logic is probably right. I mean, in terms of if they get their ass kicked tonight, they might want to bring Kevin Durant back Game 3, even at a 70% KD. He might want to come back and say, "No, you guys need me in Portland. They just beat us."
Right.
So this is going to be interesting tonight. Now, what'll probably happen? This will be all a moot point, right? Because Golden State will probably beat them by 10, and then they'll just rest KD for Game 3, and Portland will get Game 3. KD will come back for Game 4, and it'll be a wrap. That's probably your prediction, right? You said they get 1.
Yeah, Game 3.
Yeah, so that's probably what's going to happen. But that's what everybody thinks is going to happen. Portland Trailblazers can change that narrative, Michael, if they win tonight. Then that narrative goes out the window, and then your logic might come in, your hypothesis there about, okay, now we got to bring KD back for Game 3 because now the series is 1-1. I'm hoping that happens because we all know that Golden State's probably going to win this series, but I don't want Golden State resting, for a week before Milwaukee and Toronto beat each other up and go to this epic Game 7 they're probably going to go to here in a few days.
Yeah, and you want to bring KD back sooner so he doesn't have more time to rest that quad or that calf. If he say he comes back and he's only 80%, playing on that calf will not improve it. He will never get above 80%, and then him going 80% into the finals is a positive for the Raptors and or Bucks.
Yeah.
So,
no, and also the only good news thing, the good news about the finals, and we will come full circle on it because I know we're going to end the show soon, but Milwaukee or Toronto has home court advantage. That's another reason. It's the first time Golden State's been in the finals where they will not have home court advantage this year. So if they rest KD, say the whole entire series, which is probably what they're going to do because they'll end up getting rid of Portland in 5 probably. KD will come back for the finals on May 20. What I say? May 29th or May 30th? I don't know. I got to look again. I just know it's the end of May. It's weird because the finals this year doesn't start in June. It starts in May. So
yeah.
that really piqued my interest. But now KD comes back for the finals, and he will be well rested, but he will be a little rusty. He won't be in rhythm.
Yeah.
So Toronto or Milwaukee, even with KD in the lineup, they better win those games 1 and 2 with KD not being in rhythm and being rusty. That's going to be big news. We'll figure that out though in a couple of weeks. But yeah, to your point, let's see that. We'll talk about that on tomorrow's show because we'll see if Portland wins. With what you're talking about, they could rush KD back. That's possible because they pushed the panic button to be 1-1. Or will it be 2-0 and they'll just say, KD, go to take another week off.
Are you predicting a Portland win tonight?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I may look like the fool, but I'm banking on Lillard and McCollum to rise up and not do that again. I'm banking on, and God, just shoot me for this one, because I don't think Terry Stotts is a great X's and O's coach. That's just, I know he learned under Rick Carlisle in Dallas there, but I know Pop praises Coach Stotts, but I don't. I don't think. Listen, his defensive game plan and stuff like that. I mean, how could you ever praise Terry Stotts? And then sometimes it looks like he just gives C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard what offense are they running. It's almost having like 2 lesser James Hardens out there. Just they boys just jack it up. So I've never really liked his X's and O's, Coach Stotts. But listen, his ass is on the line tonight, and we'll see what kind of defense he comes up with. And then C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard have a lot of pride. They tell people privately they're better than Clay and Steph. Now, if they told me that, I'd say, okay, I wouldn't. But they're not better than Clay or Steph. But the pride thing is there. They're going to come out and do a lot better than they did that game 1. I don't know who entered their bodies in game 1, but I expect to see big time C.J. McCollum or big time Damian Lillard, either one of them. And if both of them are going, then Portland's got a shot.
All right, guys. So you heard it here first. Marcus is picking Portland. I'm picking Golden State by 15 tonight. But as always, guys, thank you for joining us. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, all the good stuff. We'll catch you guys later. We out.